Hey guys, want to welcome you back to the Sensu Pop channel for another deck profile. Today we are going to be talking about the Red Vegito deck profile, which my buddies in Singapore, Alex and CS, piloted this deck all the way to second place in their store tourney. Technically, it is the first place because there's some issues with the deck profile for the first deck. However, we will not get into that. So without further ado, let's see each other after the short intro. Hey guys, want to welcome you back from the intro. This deck is gonna be very simple, so I hope I will be able to condense this video really easily into just a couple of minutes. I'm gonna take you through. This deck is effective and simple at the same time, so that is a really good combi. I like it. I hope you will like it too. So let's talk about the leader. It is a very old leader. So each Son Goku and Vegeta in all of your areas gains red, blue and green color. So what does it mean? That means in your energy, if you charge a Son Goku, when you tap him, it can be a red, it can be blue, it can be green, except yellow. I don't know what's the problem with yellow, but they don't have yellow. Okay, when this card attacks, place up to one card from the top of the deck into your drop area. If that card is red, remember your Son Goku and Vegeta, no matter what color they are red. This card gains 5k power for the duration of the turn. If your life is 4 or less, you may draw 2, old leader, then you flip this card over. And then Fusion Warrior Super Saiyan Vegito. So permanent, he has the same permanent, each Son Goku and Vegeta in all areas, your drop, your energy, and your battle area, they are both green, blue, and red. When this card attacks, you get to draw a card, and if there are 10 or more Son Goku and Vegeta cards in your drop area, this card gains 5k and double strike for the duration of the turn. Okay, it's not that crazy, but okay, so let's talk about the Vegito Chain, which just got so much more support. This is crazy. Now, the Ender card, right, Hyper Rush or Infinite Strike, they have always been good, but it just takes so much setup or so much pieces in your hands just to set them up and play them. However, with the new anniversary support, it just went apeshit crazy, I think, in my opinion. Okay, let's talk about that. Vegito Polymorphic Potara. So, in your turn 1, when you slap down your 1 energy, you tap 1, Polymorphic Potara. This is a card that you want in your hands, alright? Activate main, tap 1, place this card in your drop area from your hand. If your leader card is a Vegito card, choose up to 1 Son Goku, 1 Vegeta card in your deck or drop area with energy cost 2 or less, negate their skills and play them in rest mode. Shuffle the deck. If you look through it, you cannot play non-Vegito battle cards for the duration of the turn. At the end of the turn, place the 2 cards into your owner's drop area. The thing is, when you play him, you set up your board immediately by 1 energy. However, at the same time, you have to make sure that you use them to Potara, because if you don't do that, they are going to end up in their drop area at the end of the turn. So what you're going to do here is, bam, just go Vegito, Resolve, Combine, Barrier. This card is the new anniversary support, so good. If your leader card is a red Vegito and you draw 2 cards, it is a cost. You have to draw the 2 cards. You go on top of him. So now in turn 1, you have a 25k barrier and it draws you 2 cards. Alright, so activate main and battle, tap 2, play up to 1 Vegito card with an energy cost of 7 or less from your deck on top of this card, then shuffle the deck. So you want to, when you're doing this, make sure that you do it activate battle. The reason is simple. You are gonna fetch either Hyper Rush or Infinite Strike. That is your option, right? That 7 cost game ender. However, now with so many cards that could negate and hit barrier, those 2 cards doesn't have barrier, so you run a risk that if you swing and then someone kakunza it, right, and your attack is gone. This guy has barrier, so use his barrier to protect you. When you swing with this guy, barrier. I would argue that you even swing on your first turn with this guy. The reason is simple, because at 25k in turn 1, your opponent does not have a lot of answers for it. Alright, so usually it is safe to swing, and then you have the hand size. You are drawing 2 cards, so you kind of have the hand size to kind of help handle this thing a little bit. So swing with him. If your opponent doesn't negate, then tap 2, bring out your Hyper Rush on top of this guy. This guy is crazy. Union Potara 5 used to be, but now is 2 costs coming with this guy, and it's activate battle. That means your opponent negates, you don't do anything. If your opponent doesn't negate, go for it. Hyper Rush SSB Vegito. He is a triple striker, 25k. When you play this card, if your leader card is a Vegito, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle card and one card in your opponent's hands and place them in the drop area. Then you draw 2 cards. You may choose up to 2 cards in your life and add them to your hands. So now you have a +2 with this guy, and then you have a +2 from your life, so it helps you to self-awaken. That is very important in this deck because you only draw when you're awakened, and then you already have a +2 from the previous Vegito. So now you have a +6 in your hands. Of course, this card is played from your hand, this card is played from your hand, that means that's a -2, but in the end it is still a healthy +4, and then you're closer to awaken. And if you can awaken, draw 2 cards and flip it over, it is a +6. Crazy. Turn 2 play, and then you have a 25k triple striker, destroy one of your opponent's hands and destroy one of your opponent's battle card. Really good. So that is the whole idea for the chain. So what you want to do in this deck is to do it. If your opponent managed to take out your Hyper Rush, then go for it again, then go for it again, go for it again. There's just so many options for you to do that. Remember, this is a deck that's been play tested by Alex and CS, the guy who brought you the Ram Shenrong. They're really good players, trust me. And if they can pilot this deck to second place, it's the pilot also, but the scene in Singapore is no joke also, right? They're pretty good. So this deck is great. So Son Goku, Resolve Renew, Counter Attack. These 2 are really good card. So negate the attack and play this card. This is 1 cost if you have 3 or more energy, or during you can use them to self-awaken, because you can tap 1 and then you get to draw a card in your hands if that is something that you want, right? So during turn 1, if you have it and you do a polymorphic, I would say hard mulligan for it. Then you can tap this guy, draw, helps you to self-awaken for just 1 energy. Or Vegeta, Resolve Renew. If the card being played is 15k power or less, it is placed in its owner's drop area instead of being played. So you counterplay something which is 15 costs or less, and it has the same thing. It is 1 cost with 3 or more energy. In activate main, you get to choose 1 card from your hands, and then you get to play this card. So you can play it early by helping you to self-awaken, or you can play it late to help you to negate the attack, or counterplay a 15k or less, but both of them stays on the board, which is your Union Potara target for cheap. So this is one of the ways that you can bring out your Hyper Rush again. So this deck, you want to hit hard, you want to swing hard, but if this whole deck is just functioning on just one win con, it is not a very good deck. There is a secondary win con, a secret spice in the deck. We are going to be playing with some yellow cards, so make sure you charge a yellow card and make sure that one of the yellow cards is in your drop area. This is something very important, because we are going to be playing Strength of Legend Son Goku, since you are playing with multicolor cards anyway, so why not, right? So make sure that you have a yellow card in your drop area and a yellow card in your energy. This is what you're gonna do here. The thing is, when you're gonna swing with, when you're doing your first polymorphic, you want to pick up maybe a green Son Goku and a yellow Vegeta, so that when they take them out, when your opponent destroys your Hyper Rush, because if you're gonna have Hyper Rush in your opponent doesn't remove your Hyper Rush, you want to Hyper Rush them again and again and again. If your opponent Hyper Rush them, it goes into drop area. Now your drop area has a yellow Vegeta and a green Son Goku, so it fulfills the whole idea of multicolor here, because Strength of Legend is just amazing. Strength of Legend, I know it's a very expensive card, so yeah, if you have it, play it. If you have a green, yellow, mono green, mono yellow, mono blue, mono red, you get to play him for free from your hands, just like that. And he is a 25k, 35k striker, but if you can tap that 4 energy, he comes back into, you could go for 1 swing, or then after that you tap the 4 energy, it comes back into active mode. It becomes a double striker, dual attack, and critical swing. That is 35k. That's simply dealable at that stage of the game. So he is really strong, really powerful. So that is the deck here. It is a very simple deck. Go straight into Hyper Rush in your turn 2 and then just go for it and see if your opponent, how much damage your opponent can take. If your opponent takes out your Hyper Rush again, because it's so cheap, it's just 3 energy to Hyper Rush out. But if your opponent managed to deal with a Hyper Rush, and that is not an option now because of all the multicolor cards in your drop area, in your energy, Strength of Legend to finish the game. Easy, simple. Over here, I would say that maybe change something here. Double strike, double shot, change it to Vegeta, Agent of Destruction. This card is really good. Why not add another win con? So he is a 20k, he pops something on the board and activate main once per turn. You tap 1 blue and 1 any color. If your leader card is red, we are a red leader. This card gains 10k double strike dual attack for the duration of turn. So it becomes a 30k double strike dual attack. Why not? Why not? Alright, I hope you liked the deck profile. Big shout out to Alex and CS for giving me this deck profile. It's really good. I think I will play this because it is themed, so I like it. And yeah, that's it. And yep, I hope you guys like the deck profile. Leave a comment, subscribe, and like the usual YouTube stuff. And I actually do like to read your comments, right? Alright, so guys, next video. Ciao.